Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We are on episode, I didn't even look, 108 today.
Hey.
And yeah, we're hoping that you enjoy your time here. If you make it to the end of the video, thank you. We always enjoy anyone who is willing to watch the whole entire video.
And we thank you for all the new subscribers too, and the comments.
Yeah,
That's
it was just,
fun.
and it's like we always know that someone's watched all the way to the end with some of the comments, just being like, oh,
Yep.
okay, like yeah, these are the. It feels like a conversation with
Yeah.
people that we might never get to meet, but share obvious common interests, and you know, it's so cool how we're able to just kind of still have this community of crafters.
Yes. Yeah.
And just be able to share tips and tricks and the love of crafting and
Yeah, and the continuation of the new subscribers just means that we're doing something right. So, anyway, we have littles here over to the side, and they may or may not cooperate being quiet. So we're just going to try and do this quick.
listen, y'all are gonna miss them the moment that they go to school. I'm telling you. What are you gonna do when we're not getting interrupted during our videos? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But okay, so I wanted to show you the pile of blocks that I've gotten done, all the varying colors, all the variety, the variegated yarns that I'm using, and they are coming out so nice, and I'm really very happy with them. So far I've gotten 14 of them done. I've got one that I need to get wet and put on the blocks, and I've got one that I'm working on. So once I get those 16 done, I've got 4 more, and then I can start selecting the ones that are going to have a black border, select the ones that are going to have a white border, and there'll be 10 of each, and then I will checkerboard them into the main blanket. Altogether I'll have 20 blocks, and then however many rows I do around it with the black and white, and then putting it together, and it'll be a nice lap blanket. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out all together. I have had comments. People are starting to get excited about seeing it all together, and I am too. So just a minute, honey. So that's where I'm at. What are you doing?
Wow. You know, avoiding my whips in progress and just going on to another project entirely, because who needs to finish a project when you can start another one?
And that's the truth of it with her.
There isn't such a rush of enjoyment that I have when I have an idea, I want to start it. And it has nothing to do with not wanting to finish it as much as I have so many deals happening and popping up so quickly that I end up kind of like reprioritizing which gets done first, and how to maintain navigating and pushing through one project when I have so many other ideas rolling on in my head. And it just is how my brain works, and I'm just working through that. But the reality is I still plan to get those emotion pillows done. I think I still will even get them done in time for my daughter's birthday, which is part of the reason where we're getting into this. My daughter's birthday is the end of next month, and we are oh yeah, it is August. So she will be turning 5, and I am trying to create a slight tradition to see if this is something that they will want to do for a while. I don't know. Who knows? They might change their tastes and what they want mommy to be involved in this regard. But as of right now, I had taken them to Joann's, our craft Joann's store, and we were just kind of like, they were really wanting to build things and to craft and to make things on their own. And so I was kind of being like productive in that way and kind of like showing them the fun of shopping for very specific crafting items. But I went up to Olivia and I was like, Olivia, I can, you know, if you request something, I can make you something for your birthday. And I had a couple things in mind. She is 5, so I kind of have to, sometimes the inspiration that she has compared to my available time or ability, I just kind of like offer already reasonable options that I know I'm going to be able to fulfill within the time lot that I have for her birthday. But she can choose what she wants out of those options, right? So I gave her a couple options, and she said that she would love to have a fairy and an actual mermaid. Now here's the thing, if you have watched from my Christmas videos, I did make a mermaid, but her mermaids were unicorn mermaids. So they had the top of like a unicorn head with, and then they went into being a mermaid. So I'm going to be making much more of a doll, traditional mermaid, humanoid, fishoid mermaid. Not, you know, hybrid mermaid that the unicorn was. Well, anyway, so I decided on those things, and we were deciding on the fairy things, and it was just exciting. I like it when my kids get excited in crafting, and my kids have really, really taken off with the idea of just having their own little buckets or their own little collage of things that they now have that they can carry around with them. They have their own little spots in the house that they just kind of like will sit there and start creating and figuring things out. My son has these beads that he'll just string on a string and then dump them, and string on a string and just dump them. But it seems to just be such a fun small motor activity that he really enjoys. With my daughter, she is getting better at drawing and problem solving and discovering how to make things work all together. And it has been a very, very fun process to just kind of be to be a witness of. It's really fun to see kids grow, and in this way I'm really enjoying how their creativity is showing me so much about their character. And with that, I have been working on this fairy. I just kind of made this very basic design, and I just kind of was inspired to just make a very basic body and head and features, and I just made the legs independent. Around a certain point, I just color changed so that by the time I started working them together, they would be shorts. Then I went up with another color to kind of make like a tank top, and then I made the arms, attached them, and then went up, made the neck and the head. But I definitely did go back to make sure that the tank top had straps. Gave the head some features. You can kind of see the nose I made in the same skin color, and then the smile and the eyes are in black. And then I took the time to weave, to kind of like get a whole bunch of this pink yarn in at the top, and I did my best to make it even. And my plan is, because I saw an inspiration on Etsy of a kind of fairy doll where it's a flower cap, where it's like a flower is taken off the stem and it's turned upside down, where the face of the flower is actually the top of it, in the inside of the hat. Yeah. So the stem and the flower petals. Go ahead and talk to them. Is more the brim of the hat, and the tip of the hat is the stem, and I really want to replicate that here. I'm not following a pattern, so I'm going to have to try to figure out how they did that. And then my idea for the wings is to possibly make them detachable, kind of like a backpack wing where it's like fake wings as my kids wear them. So it'll be wings, and then I'll have them be something that can be slipped through the arms, and then maybe put a button on front to be able to clip it. And then I'll make different outfits, like some sort of a dress that can be put on through the wings or without the wings.
It's almost like a paper doll.
Kind of, yeah. The
where
idea,
you can do the different outfits.
but my idea is that the hat will be something that I fully attach onto her head.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, so that will kind of keep the hair a bit tamed. I want to make pointy ears that come through the hairline, and so that they kind of peekaboo out and kind of create much more of like obviously the surreal mystical creature. And I'm really hoping that she likes this. She likes this so far, so I'm very excited. Now, in regards to the color scheme, I got a Lion Brand Medela cake, and I separated the colors of the cake. I just rolled them until I got to another color change and clipped it off and just got them all separated. And I knew all these colors were going to work together, and so I just got something like that so that all the colors were already going to work together no matter how I fashioned them, and everything was going to work out. I didn't have to worry about it. There's going to be enough. So I just had to buy one thing of yarn and just separate out the colors, and I had everything for this project practically.
And that is a really nice tip for all you who are looking for various colors but don't have a lot of money to spend.
Yes, I did already have the white, and that's what I made with the color of the skin tone. I just chose a paler complexion, and I already had that white, and I already had the black. So outside of that, everything else is going to be through the color scheme of the mandala. I thought I had brought the wrap, the tag with me, and I didn't, so next time I will bring that. Now, the other thing that she chose was, like I said, a unicorn. Now, I have not started that yet, but I bought this yarn. It is the Red Heart Super Savers in the color scheme Stripes. Yep, Favorite Stripes is the name. And I thought this was really cool. I'm really excited about this mermaid because I'm trying to make more dolls in obvious and like different ethnicities. And I was like, I really want to kind of make a doll with a darker complexion, a black doll, and I want to be able to do something that's kind of really be complimentary for this one. And we have relatives that are black, so we're just kind of like telling her, I was like, do we want a doll that is like this, our relative? She loves her cousin, and so she's like, yes, that's really great. And I was like, awesome. So her mermaid is going to be with black skin, and we're hoping to find the right color for this. I'm not sure if this color brown is gonna work, because I want to make sure that it's the right it's gonna look well with this color scheme. I only had this and I got really excited, but this is I don't know, I feel like this worked. It just was what I had, and I just wanted to make something really simplistic with this. I kind of want to make sure that I give it a real effort before I just start into it, because I want to make sure that it turns out well. So yeah, just really excited about that. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for her hair yet. I was thinking that I would make sure, I was thinking about making it black hair, and I might braid the hair, like make braided hair. I'm not quite sure. Haven't gotten there yet, but my idea is that this will be the tails color shades, and like the top and Maybe some of the features on the doll will have this, and I can make her own things that she can have with her that already are in these color schemes, or I can kind of like separate some of the colors out in certain ways to be able to make different accessories. And I am just excited. I just know that there's something really beautiful about making especially when you're able to making things with a fun level of options, and being able to show her that this can go in so many different directions, and being able to offer diversity and be able, because like I was just like, we have gotten her many different dolls, and it's absolutely great to see her playing with all her dolls. And she watches so many shows that have different friends with different backgrounds and different races, and it's just like there's no problem in just keeping up with that, even with the creations, and being able to make
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're all on this earth, and we all need to get along.
Well, yeah, and we're all human, and nothing needs to be too complicated about it. But sometimes, I have no problem making dolls that look like her, but I want to make dolls that also look like other people, so that she's able to have that as well as something that she can play with, and
pretend she's playing with her cousin or whatever, one little girl and one little girl playing together.
So I just am excited about that, and I am also, because my son is pretty excited about the fact that I'm just kind of making toys right now.
Again.
He really wanted me to make him a doll, and I was just like, well, what do you want, buddy? And he's like, I want a robot. Because I was like,
he's really into robots.
Because he's really into like policemen, superheroes, other city workers like firefighters and such. But he ended up choosing a robot, and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use this yarn, if it would be an option I got from my mom's stash. But this is kind of one of those speckled yarns, and I am very excited about this. I think that this would be a good base of kind of like, it might look like it's a bit rusted or old, but I'm not quite sure, because I kind of think I would like it to be fully gray. So this might not work, but I'm just kind of drawing inspiration from what is available and around. But yes, so it's just one of those things I'm pretty excited about. So I am hoping to be able to figure out how to best do that, because I'm trying to figure out how to make the boxes, like the head and the body part, like the chest part of the box, and maybe like the feet, and how to navigate all that when I'm stuffing it, because like I could make walls and sew it together like it's a box and then stuff it, but I don't know if it is going to stuff in a way that it's going to hold that box shape after I've assembled, like make all those different squares and rectangles sewn together. Will that still maintain its box shape? I'm not quite sure yet, but I do hope that does work out. I'll let you know, because I want to be able to make it where it definitely looks more squared off, and I don't know if I'm going to need to use maybe border it with a thicker yarn compared so that it's a little bit more structured. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can make the square, the rectangle on its own with like the weighted yarn that I have, but then use a different yarn to border it so it's a little bit more like framed and boxed and stronger, so when I'm sewing those edges together, they're more likely to hold their shape. So
that looks beautiful.
So yes, I am going to be working on these things. I will show all my progress as I can and keep up with as many of my whips as I can. I'm getting super excited with my kids going to school, that I'm going to be able to have more structured, regular, scheduled time for my decluttering and my projects without interruption, and possibly be able to really get all my whips back into one location, finishing them, really getting them done, and getting all this stuff figured out. So I'm hopeful that that is a more seamless, more like how I just said that. It's just gonna go easily, but who knows what life is gonna throw in the mix. Hopefully it's all gonna work out.
Brown.
So
He's got a bunch of crayons and he wants to draw this.
he wants to draw.
So he keeps coming over here to ask me what color he's got in his hand.
Yeah, he said he wanted a colorful robot. He was very excited about this rainbow yarn, and so I plan to make the robot,
Orange.
and I plan to make a whole bunch of colored buttons on it so that he can do it that way.
Yeah.
So that he can choose what button does what.
Yeah,
Special
there you
feature, jump, circle, da 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 da. So yeah.
So, pink. So, the scripture today that popped out at me as I opened the Bible, I know that God is doing this for a reason, and the reason that, well, I'll read the scripture and then we'll talk about the reasons. But, and he said to her, "Daughter, have faith, or your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." That is found in Mark 5, verse 34. So, and he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." Two things happened this last week. The reason that we could not film last week is because Olivia was going through a trial of fever, and she had the fever for 4.5 days. She had taken her in to emergency. They couldn't find anything with the testing. We both took her into urgent care, and they couldn't find anything with their testing either. We don't know why it happened and why she kept spiking fevers and losing her appetite and not drinking anything. We just know that she was getting them. And the doctor had told us that if she was to get another fever the following day, which would make it day 5, now they say that kids burn off their fevers within 4 days, or 4 days is the limit. Now day 5, the doctors all of a sudden it perks their interest. They all of a sudden, it's like, well, we got to figure out a reason why this is happening. And so they told Sarah to not give her any medicine on that following day, and if she was to spike a fever, to get her back in and bring in the paperwork that she had already had, and to make sure that they knew that what tests she'd already been through, but that they would find a reason. Well, she got prayed for by many people. We were all praying for her, and I'm not sure, did she wake up with a fever, or did she just not have one when she woke up that 5th day?
I noticed a change in her when she woke up in the middle of the night, needing to have a bathroom break, because when she got back to her room and I brought her back to tuck her in, she was gulping down her water, and that was such a huge, drastic difference than what the last 4 days had been. And I just kind of let it be. I let her sleep, and when she woke up, she was fever free, and throughout the rest of the day she maintained that status. It's awesome, Cameron. And it was one of those things that I was very grateful for. I was grateful, relieved that it seemed like it was over and that the doctor had been right, that there must be cycles in which they have documented fevers don't normally last a certain amount of time without it being tied to more internal issues, which was what they were unsure of during those 4 days, whether it would lead there, right? Because the idea is that a 4-day fever could just be the natural burning off point of a virus that could just go into the body, and letting the fever do its job and help take care and burn off that virus. And it's one of those things where navigating through that, when you're going through it, even through the medical eyes, it's like we had her tested for influenza A, B, RSV, and COVID. That came back negative. We had her tested for strep throat because her throat was red, but her lymph nodes weren't swollen, and it ended up coming back again normal. And then we even had her get a UTI test to make sure that there was no upset bladder, and that turned out to be absolutely fine, which is all good news. It's just one of those things where the pediatrician made it very clear that these things do happen, and they can just happen on their own. And obviously her body was able to fight this off on its own, while also kind of leaving us not knowing what to do this whole entire time, because this was the first time this had ever happened to our family. And with many other, with all of our medical history, it's one of those things where
you just don't let things like that go.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be careful, and I still plan to keep all that paperwork close in case something like this repeats itself. I'm able to be like, listen, I don't want to ignore this because I feel like this is happening too close, or anything. Like, I just don't want to ignore it. I also want to use it as a point of reference, all these different things. But yeah, that was a random occurrence that we went through this last week. It disrupted our family vacation with my family, an extended family, and it just, but it is what it is. It happens. So, yes.
So, yep. And when I opened up the Bible, that was the first verse that I saw, and I'm like, okay, God, I know where you're going with this, and we need to just say that and to let you know that she's okay now. We're back. We're videoing, and everything's back to normal with the kids. So, yeah, I'll read it to you one more time, and then I will put it in the description box like I do every week for you guys. I always put the scripture in there so that if you want to look it up for yourself or underline it or whatever, you can have it for yourself. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." And we were certainly glad that God heard our prayers and that he relieved our minds and made the fever dissipate and go away. And so I think we're going to be set to end this video now. The kids are getting a little antsy, and they are wanting our attention. So is that all you had for them today?
Yeah, so pretty much we just had this really random spurt of not understanding where Olivia was at with her health, and we're very grateful that despite the frustration of not knowing what it was, she did seem to find the fever did seem to do its job and knock whatever it was back on track.
Yeah,
because she is doing better, and they were not too worried about some of her achiness that she said that achy/pain cramps that she was still getting. They said that they do not are not concerned that that was tied necessarily maybe to the fever. It could have just been growing pains at the same time. But like I said, I plan to keep a close eye. But yes, I'm just super excited with all these crafts I plan to do, opening up different worlds and even possibly different, anyone can be a mermaid, all that sort of thing. But just the whole like being able to showing off and just being proud of the the human race and not having to worry about being able to
I like using all the colors anyway. It makes me happy having all the colors in my projects. So
yeah, so it's just one of those things. I'm very excited just to be able to offer her the idea of just maybe this being one way to bring in one way to bring in some ethnicity and diversity into her play, and to be able to talk about it. And by the way, this was not inspired by the new Ariel, like Little Mermaid. I literally was just kind of like, I would like to be able to make two different girls, and I didn't care which one was which one.
Right.
And my husband was able to be like, hey, do you want, which one do you want to be like your cousin? And she just adores her. And so it was just like, yes, and she chose the mermaid. So it was on her end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I'm excited, and I am excited to be able to just be able to bridge, just be able to make this all good.
Yeah.
And just chill. And even with you, just like all your things happening this week, it just felt like a really weird week. Like, so many different fun crafting things happened on top of just a really like random set of like unexplainable events of just being sick, going to the doctor all the time, even with you and some of your stuff, and just being like, wow, like it's hard not to feel like sometimes it's coordinated.
I know.
Like, it's just all happening all at once.
Well,
I don't know why.
And getting answers sure does relieve your mind. So I'm just going to leave it at that for mine.
Oh, yeah. It was just one of those things where just being able to have confirmation as to certain things being normal.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, yeah, okay. I now know that, and I don't have to worry that this is me ignoring what could be potentially a symptom that I don't want to feel like I have neglected.
Right. And I literally walked out of the doctor's office and put my hands up and said, thank you, Lord. That is an answer to my prayer. So, yeah.
We're all good. So I hope and I hope that everyone's doing well, that you had patience for us to the end of this video.
Yeah.
My children don't always take great downtimes during our filming because they enjoy their nap in their house, in their room, and so
but they get excited that we're videoing and they kind of want to be in the film.
Yeah, so but soon enough they're gonna be in their own spot, so we're gonna not even have the idea of interruptions for a while.
Oh, well, that might be a good thing too.
Yeah. Everything has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
So please share with us what you're working on right now, what you're up to, and we would love to hear from all of you, and hope that you are all doing a very very, very good job with your projects, and you're having a good day. I'm getting very distracted by my kids. Like, I'm in the middle of a sentence and all of a sudden I just hear this random bell and I'm like,
I'm just going to say like, subscribe, and comment.
Yes, but no, seriously, we really hope that you guys are doing really well in your projects. It's one of the things where it's like, when I'm doing a project like this where I'm kind of just doing it as I go and I'm very just inspired in the moment, and when things slow down and they don't work as I planned to them to work, it's not like following a pattern. You got to problem solve. And I don't ever want to hear anybody feeling burnt out by a project. Just keep trying. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It is worth it and fun and all part of the process. So as always, we hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and until next week, we hope that you stitch your way
To mental health.